Hey, my name's Liz and I sell on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. Today I am doing a ship with me video from the weekend. These are sales from Friday evening through Monday morning of Black Friday weekend. Not that used clothes are necessarily the most common purchased item that weekend, but I did have 19 sales. They are 18 on Poshmark and 1 on eBay. I have been not good with cross-posting very much the last few weeks, so that definitely impacts it. So I will tell you about the item. We'll pack it up. Most of them will go in these holiday poly mailers that I have. And let's jump in. The first piece here, I store all of my items in Ziploc bags in bins, and then I don't ship all of them in Ziploc bags. I've had less than 5 issues in over 6,000 sales. So I prefer not to waste double the amount of plastic since getting into reselling was partially for sustainability purposes for me. So the first piece is this new with tags Victoria's Secret bodysuit. It's black velvet. I have had this for I think 2+ years. I don't know if I would list this now if I found it. Also, I paid $8 for it, which I definitely would not pay that for this piece at this point, but it did sell for $19, which makes my profit after fees $15.20. So then after my cost of goods, I make $7.20, which is not very good for 2 years. But I'm glad that I did at least get that much out of it because a lot of the time I do end up sending pretty high offers out on my older inventory. So this made more than it potentially could have. And this is heading to Phoenix. Next up we have a brand new also dress from Zara. I found this same dress in black and white at a Goodwill one day, and I paid $7 for this one. It sold in about a month for $30. So after my cost of goods and the fees, I make $17, which I'm pretty happy for a Zara piece. I do find a lot of Zara in my area, and I pick it up a lot at the bins. I don't pick it up for $7 usually, but white dresses tend to do pretty well for me. Ones that could be worn for bridal type events usually are worth it. And this one is heading to South Dakota. That is not one I see very often. So these have also been in my inventory for 2+ years. These were my sister's that she gave to me to sell, and they have sat for a very long time. They are a pair of Celine Gladiator sandals. They're overall in pretty good condition, just like some light wear and stuff. But I have the dust bag and everything. I need to put these in a box that I forgot to grab. But these sold for $80. I think I had them listed originally for $200, and they have had a lot of offers sent on them, a lot of relisting. So I end up making $64 on these. I'm gonna give most of that to my sister. But always fun when a designer piece sells, even if it's not for as much as you would hope it is. This did not do as well as I would have hoped either. So this is a dress from Universal Standard, and it's new with tags. It is the foundation turtleneck dress. The problem is it's a Universal Standard size extra small, which is like, they have a very strange sizing. I believe that's like a medium in their sizing, and the larger sizes do much better in this brand because that's kind of what they're known for. So if that had been like a typical 2X or something, that may have sold much quicker for a higher price point. But it ended up going for $20 after over a year. I paid $10 for it, so I only make $6 on that piece. So that is definitely something I wouldn't have paid $10 for at this point. Universal Standard has slowed down significantly since when I bought that. And this is heading to Austin. Another very stale piece of inventory is this Adriana Papel gown. So it has the lace top and then the whole skirt is ruffles. This has been around for at least 3 years. It's beautiful and definitely a piece that like should be worn to a wedding, and I'm sure it's going for a wedding or a holiday party or something along those lines. So this sold for $40. I paid $8.75 for it, so I believe that's $23.25 that I make in profit after fees and cost of goods, which isn't too bad. If that had sold in just a couple months, I'd be happy with it, but 3 years is a really long time, and that is heading to Knoxville, Tennessee. I probably also had this listed too high. I think it was listed at like 80, and that was an offer I took, and I definitely should have lowered that price at some point. We've got another designer sale, and this is a pair of really cute Dior heels. They have charms on them that spell Dior. They are overall in pretty good shape besides some heel, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, heel marking, and then not even bad wear on the bottom. These came in a ThredUp DIY designer box, and I need tissue paper. I'm gonna put them in one of these USPS Ground Advantage boxes. I finally got some. It took like a month and a half for them to show up, and I think there's still things that I ordered from that when Poshmark first announced it that haven't come yet. But glad to have some of these. They make it much easier to ship stuff. So these sold for $100. I had them listed for $198 and went back and forth with this person. But my sales have not been the best the last couple weeks, so I took a $100 offer. Paid about $20 for them in the designer box is what it usually comes out to. So I make $60 after the fees, which is paying for about half the designer box. So that's cool. I think I've already made my money back on that one between a couple pieces that have sold, and they weren't the best boxes. These were one of the better pieces that was in them. They're really cute. I've had this for close to a year because I think I found it right after Christmas last year. This is a Disney Parks Stitch Christmas sweater. Disney Parks stuff I usually pick up, and their holiday things have done well for me as well, and Stitch is pretty popular. This actually lights up. It has little lights in his hat and the little switch box thing, which is fun. This sold for $18. I paid $3 for it, so my profit is $11.40. And yeah, it took about a year, but I did list it after last Christmas, so not shocking that it took until this one to sell. And that's going to Massachusetts. Then this is a dress that my sister's best friend gave me a bag of things she was donating to sell. This is a dress from Alice and Olivia, and it's kind of animal print. It's a like size 2, so it's kind of tiny, but very cute, great condition. I'm going to give her some money after a bunch of the stuff sells, and just keep part of it. I haven't fully figured out what I'm going to do because I have to pay the taxes on everything, so I have to make sure I'm leaving myself enough for that. But this sold for $45, so I got $36 after all the fees. And this took only 2 weeks to sell, which is pretty quick for Alice and Olivia. It is not a brand I always have the best luck with. And this is heading to Florida. So then this dress is one my sister gave me to sell. It's a fully white sequin wrap dress from Boohoo, which is just fast fashion. But this was from when she was engaged and she didn't end up wearing this piece. It sold for $40. So after fees, I get $32, and I'm gonna give her money for this as well. But I was pretty happy with how quick that sold, and for a pretty decent price too. So putting that, oh, this is Mason. He's my dog. This is one of the USPS Ground Advantage. Like, they're padded envelopes, but they're not quite padded in the same way the priority ones are, but they are a great size. I do find they're a little hard to get sticking, so I do usually put a piece of tape over top of them too, but a really good size, which is nice. These are heading to, this dress is heading to South Carolina. Next up, we have a pair of maternity jeans from Hatch, which is my favorite maternity brand to sell. It is very expensive. These maternity jeans, and they're like a skinny jean too. They're not like an amazing style or anything. Sold for $45. I paid $10 for them about 6 months ago. So it did take a little bit of time to sell. This brand typically is a fairly fast seller for me. But made $26 after fees and cost of goods, which I am fine with. And they're heading to North Carolina. Another Zara dress. This one is purple, also satin, and it has like a semi-monochromatic, like Asian toile type print on it. Has the belt too. I paid $2 for this, so that's more along the lines of pricing for Zara that I typically would pay. But this sold for $20, so I make $14 after fees and cost of goods, which I am very happy with. But I think it did take around a year to sell. But I hold on to inventory for a long time. I have started to send some very old stuff, like 3+ years, to ThredUp just to clearance it out so I have more space in my inventory. This is heading somewhere in New York I have never heard of before. I live in New Jersey, so I get a lot of sales to New York, but this is either very upstate or maybe Long Island. Then this is a dress from Desi Gall. And this one is from the Christian LaCroix line. It's very Y2K styling. This is not a brand I find a ton of, but I do typically grab it when I do. This sold for $20. I paid $5 just about 3 weeks ago, which is a faster sale than I was expecting for this. So I make $11 after fees and cost of goods, and that is heading to New Hampshire. Not where I would have expected that one to go. Then one day at the thrift store, I found, I think it was 8 pairs of these new with tag Ralph Lauren leather gloves. I only have 1 pair left. I found them last Christmas, winter time, and they've mostly sold by now. So yeah, this was the second to last pair. I paid $4 for each of them. They've sold at various price points from like $50 to $25 or so. This one sold for $24. So I make $15-$20 after fees and cost of goods. But yeah, that was a great find, especially because they take up so little space. One listing for 8 pieces, and I just put them all in the same inventory bag in my storage and have let them sell. Those are heading to Georgia. Hopefully the last pair sells this season. They'd make a great gift too. I'm not gonna unfold this one, but you'll see the picture of it here. This is a maxi dress from Jill Stewart, and it's just black, and it has a sizable opening on the back. but a perfect wedding guest dress. This one sold for $40. I paid just $6 for it. This brand is sold on Revolve. I think the gowns are also sold on Beholden, which is Anthro's wedding line site as well. That's heading to Atlanta. So I made $16 after fees and cost of goods on that. And it took about 8 months to sell. Another pair of jeans. These are Mother, and this is the Mother Superior tag. I don't necessarily find that one is better than the other. They always have the M's that you can notice on the back. These are the scrapper style. They sold for $40. I paid $16 for these. I think I got them at a Plato's. And I made $16 after fees and cost of goods. And they took about 8 months to sell as well. But they were like a slim kind of style, I would say. And they're heading to Pittsburgh. I think this one was one of the only bins finds in this ship with me. But this is I think it's a midi dress from Sandro, which is a great brand. This is a silk floral dress. Not the time of year I would have expected this one to sell in the holiday season, but it is a beautiful dress, and with bins pricing, this sold for $40, so I make about $30, and that took around 6 months to sell. That brand, I have found many beautiful things for it, but it definitely is not the fastest mover in my closet. And that's heading to Florida, so okay, someone can still wear that even now. Then these were a surprisingly full price sale. This is a pair of Theory pants. They are the Bordeaux Eco Bi-Stretch pant, and they are like a burgundy color. These sold for my full asking price of $60 in about a month. And at my regular Goodwill one day, I found, I think, 6 pairs of very current Theory pants in size 10. And I have not paid up for Theory pants in a long time, but they were all very current. A couple of them still had the tags on them, so I was willing to pay the $7. That is my Goodwill, like, standard pants pricing. So when these sold for $60 and I make $41, I was thrilled, especially because they only took about a month. And they are heading to Denver. This would have been the fastest sale of the day. I listed this morning and it sold within about 10 minutes. I will always pick up pieces for kids that have smocking like this. This one is a brand I'm not familiar with. It's not one of the big names. It's Cookies, something like that. I thought this would take until summertime to sell, but yeah, almost instantly, which is my favorite kind of sales, and for full price. So that one I paid $5 for, and I bought it last week, listed it this morning, and made $11 for it. And it's heading about 20 minutes from where I live, which is even funnier because you'd think maybe it was going to Florida or something. But yeah, I love to pick up baby smocked clothing. And then the one and only eBay sale is actually a piece of jewelry, and I don't sell very much jewelry, but about a month ago I found on ThredUp's website 2 boxes of the DIY jewelry, or I think it was the 15-piece mixed jewelry boxes. So I've been selling through it. This one is a snowflake necklace. It's brand new. It's from Kohl's, I think. But it has a $150 price tag. Not that anyone would ever have paid that at Kohl's. but I figured since it was new, I would list it. I'm going to wrap this in some bubble wrap before I put it in the poly mailer. But sold for $20. I paid about $8 for each piece in the boxes that I ended up listing. So there's quite a few pieces that had no markings or brand and just like weren't styles that I think would be worth listing on their own, you know, like just some cheap earrings and that kind of stuff that I didn't include in my pricing for how much I was allocating for each piece. I made about $13 on this, and totally happy with that. And it is heading to Michigan. So yeah, that is everything I sold this weekend. Hopefully a few more sales will maybe roll in before I head over to the post office, but hope that your sales are doing well in this fourth quarter. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.